Hello and welcome to Youth in Sports, where every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. we feature special guests from near and far. The program is sponsored by ATI Physical Therapy, providing certified athletic trainers to more than 30 area high schools and colleges. First State Orthopedics, the team taking care of Delaware with a commitment to excellence. And Wilmington University, where Youth in Sports is produced by the College of Technology's students and faculty. And now, from the studio at President Jack Barcelona's Wilmington University, your hosts for Youth in Sports, AOSSM Mr. Sports Medicine 2012, Dr. Michael Axe, UD and St. Elizabeth's own Dr. Joseph Strait, and co-founder of Youth in Sports, Mr. Walter Laudine.
Good evening, welcome to Youth in Sports. April will be our 23rd year. I'm Walter Laudine here at beautiful Wilmington University, and you are?
I'm Dr. Joseph Strait from First State Orthopedics, and we're rolling as a team tonight. And speaking of teams, we brought in one of our college soccer programs here at Wilmington. We have a men's and women's team, but we brought on the men's today because they had an excellent season this year. With us tonight is Miles Dean, assistant coach, and Zach Lee, one of the student athletes here. So welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Let's start with Coach Dean. Coach, where did you play your sport?
I'm a native of Newark. I went to Newark High School, played 4 years varsity there, and also played club ball for my entire years growing up. Grew up in the Kirkwood Soccer Club, actually.
Which is one of the biggest soccer programs on the East Coast. I remember when we did Kirkwood Soccer. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. It's still going on.
Still going strong.
When we first started, they talked for years about this big complex they're going to have,
And they got it.
Way after we quit playing.
Yeah, right.
Way after we were done. So we didn't really benefit from it, but it is great to drive by there and actually coach over there now, but to go over there and see all that it's become. It's really a proud moment for us to
Miles, when did you start
playing soccer?
Yeah, you said you're from Delaware.
Yeah.
So grade school?
Oh, wow. Official starting on a team, I would say I was 5 in the Newcastle County League, rec league. I think my dad threw me in.
Which is again
Was
still
your dad
going on.
a soccer player?
My dad was a basketball player. He played basketball for Coach Big House Gaines at Winston-Salem State University.
Oh, cool.
But in high school, he played soccer in the fall to get in shape for basketball in the winter.
Okay.
So he was kind of a soccer player, so he took the sport very seriously and passed that on to me. And as the story goes, he put a soccer ball, a basketball, and a baseball in my crib when I was a baby. And I gravitated to the soccer ball. So that's how I got into it.
That's how you make choices early, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's really funny because you're a local product, okay? You went to a local high school. And where did you go to college?
I went to the University of South Carolina. At the time it was called USC Spartanburg. Now it's the University of South Carolina Upstate.
And why did you decide to go down there, Coach? Did you go down there for soccer?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
What did you major in?
Psychology.
Which helps you in sports.
Of course.
Really dealing with sport athletes.
And it helps me in coaching and now.
Sure.
Yeah. So my journey to South Carolina, I first went to like most young guys who come out of high school, they want to play Division I.
Oh yeah.
And and Zach probably could. Zach's not too far from that since he is much younger than I. And so I'm sure he understands that mentality. But a lot of guys, I got to play Division I. I was in the same boat,
Right.
Division I. So I had some offers to play in some different schools, but I always wanted to go down south. That's where my family was from. That's where I visited every summer. So I wanted to be in the South. So I ended up walking on to the University of North Carolina Greensboro soccer team, and that didn't work out. And I ended up at Spartanburg, which was a tremendous move for me. It was the best thing could have happened to me. It was life-changing and life-affecting, and we had a great soccer team, and I did very well there, and it just worked out best. And Spartanburg is a Division II school, so it helps me in this scenario, and I think that's what, to bring that experience to this program.
tell people out there, because we're talking Division I and Division II, and no, but they see it in football a lot because it's on TV. You don't see a lot of college soccer on TV, but just give somebody it seems like even in soccer, there's a little bit of a difference, but not a lot. It's not as much as I see in football.
Yeah, you know, and the thing about Division II soccer, and it's changed a little bit, but when I was playing Division II, there was no age limit. So on my team, I had guys that were 28, 29, pushing 30. Also in Division II, there are a lot of international players. And at the time when I was playing,
excuse me, why in Division II are there a lot of international players? Because soccer is so big.
I think one is the age thing. I think the age
allows
for a broader range of players. So what you had, especially things of NCAA changed some rules, so that's kind of minimized this whole thing. But at the time, you know, I had a lot of guys that were former almost pros in other countries that maybe didn't need or something, and
rehabilitating
came back and still wanted to play.
Right.
And it was an opportunity to come to the United States, get an education, and play soccer. So Division II ended up with some really high quality players. So you know, at your higher level Division II schools, they can compete with any Division I school, with anyone. Yeah, I think you know, and the difference is, like you said, it's the name recognition. It's in some instances the size of school. The biggest thing though is money. It's money between Division I and Division II. It's the money that the school decides to put into the program and into the athletic programs. So that's the biggest difference. Scholarships is another big thing.
Now, did they change the age rules, Coach?
Yes, and no. It's very complicated, but
Do we have an age rule? Is there an age rule on soccer?
Yeah, there's an age rule. It's really about semesters played and how long you've been out of school, and they take so many years of eligibility from you if you've been out of school so many years. So because of that, on the front end, you're not going to get those older guys on the back end now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the default is yes, now you don't have the 28, 29,
Would you say the majority of your
guys.
players are coming right out of high school or a year out of college, or some from
Yeah, the majority
overseas?
of our players here, you know, I think some have come from the junior college route. Some of our guys here have graduated high school, have taken a year or so off, then decide that, you know, they wanted to get back into school and get back into soccer. And I think the one beautiful thing about our program and about Wilmington University is that it's open to all of those students. And Wilmington gives all of those students the opportunity to go to school and have an opportunity to play college athletics. So it's you know, we take advantage of that as a program. I know all the programs do, and our student athletes are really grateful that they have that opportunity and take full advantage of it from an academic standpoint as well.
Now, how long does a student? How long is he allowed to play Wilmington University soccer?
All student athletes at the college level have 4 years.
4 years.
4 years. Yeah. Now, how they do that 4 years is different.
It can be broken up.
Yeah, you have so many semesters to get those 4 seasons in other words.
Right.
So it can get very complicated.
Is that Division I too?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe that's the case as well. Yeah. It can be very complicated. So a student athlete can come in, they could play a semester, they could take a semester off, and they could come back and, you know, while they're still in school. You know, it's very complicated. But they have to get it done in so many semesters now.
They have so many semesters to get it done.
To get their 4 years of eligibility in.
And that's after they've started. So they could start late, but they have that much time to get it done.
And they have to maintain a certain average?
Maintain a certain grade point average, maintain a certain number of credits that they have to be in.
Yeah, they can't take one class and.
No, they have to be enrolled in a certain number of credits. I think it's 12 credits.
12. Yeah. I'm putting you on the spot. Do you know what is our men's soccer GPA?
You know, we just got it. I want to say it's around the 3.0.
That's excellent.
It's an excellent.
Very
Well,
good.
that's usually better than the high schools usually too.
Yeah, and we've seen a steady increase in that. So we're actually very excited about that. That's probably the thing we're most excited about, to be honest with you. It's something we've worked really hard on the past couple of years to improve our GPA, and to have our student athletes take it much more seriously. So.
Well, I've found out over the years that of all the young people, over 5,000 we've interviewed, that soccer players academically do well. Swimmers, soccer players, they seem to be at the cusp
That is true.
of the
Wrestlers.
Yeah,
I mean,
wrestlers.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's about the individual student and what you know, how they've been brought up and what their background is. There's so many factors involved in that. I know we emphasize academics very much, and you know, our players go to study tables and they do all the things that they take full advantage of what the university has to offer academically. Yeah.
Coach, do you help them? For example, they need a tutor, stuff like that. Is that available to them at Wilmington University?
Absolutely. The university has student services and plenty of resources that they can take advantage of. So we have a good relationship with those departments, and also with professors. We try to have relationships with as many professors as we can to help our guys maintain the average and their grade point average we want.
I say it's kudos to Wilmington University for what President Barcelona has done with putting the money into. I mean, we don't have a big football program that brings in tons of money, but
Oh, wait a minute. I'm glad you said that. Dr. Axe told me years and years ago, which I thought was crazy, but I found out it to be true, that like 80% of the college football programs lose money.
They do.
80%
because
of
of travel and,
and
scholarship.
uniforms
But you have to look at a lot of things. Scholarship gets lumped into that. There's different things.
You know,
that money's
very
allocated
few Notre
different ways,
Dames,
too.
Penn States, you know, those kind of schools. And like some people wonder, well, why would, you know, Temple want to play Notre Dame? The reason they want to play Notre Dame is Notre Dame is the only school that has their own television contract. Every game that Notre Dame plays is on television.
Right.
So when you play Notre Dame, you get those gate receipts, and even though you might get killed, you get the money. And everything's about money today.
Well, you see that a lot with the smaller schools going and playing a big school.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Well, what about, you know, you're a young man, and, you know, you started playing soccer. You've seen, you know, the popularity in Europe and Asia and South America is so great. And now it's starting to show because there's so many young kids playing soccer. And I think you're going to see more and more. There's a show on TV now about youth football. It's awful. It is awful. I watched it last
You're talking
night.
about the Texas show with the kids?
Texas,
I think it's something
Friday night
Tykes.
Tex or something. I watched it last night. I was appalled. One kid, he had a concussion. He was out, and his father says, "Well, you know, if he has a second or third, you know, that's it." And I'm like, my grandkids play flag football, and I think, you know, my son played football, and I think until they get to the high school, they should not be playing tackle football, especially with some of the coaches that aren't particularly knowledgeable on what to do. And especially
And teaching the
concussions are a big
fundamentals
deal
and teaching
now.
the tackling well. It's
Exactly.
I mean, concussions are big in soccer. We see it a lot with heading the ball. I mean,
That's what I
there's a
talked
lot.
about years ago. Everybody looked at me like I was crazy. Oh, no, that doesn't happen. I wouldn't be surprised if you see soccer players one day wearing helmets.
There's a lot to it. You collide head to head, and then you cause
I
more.
wouldn't be surprised.
It's hard to eliminate it from sports, but just recognizing it, making it aware, and I guess you probably have seen it over the last year that when guys get hit, they say something to you now. That's what's getting out there, which is great.
Well, I you know, like with Coach Dean here, one of the points I was going to bring up is now a young soccer player can see a future. Like we had Elena Della Donovan, you know, great woman basketball player, one of the best in the country. And one of the things that I said to her, I said, well, you know, when we first started the show, one of the reasons we tried to highlight women because they weren't getting the press in the Delaware paper, and now they can go and play pro basketball. Soccer, same way.
Well, Well, that's one of the reasons I asked the Wilmington soccer team to come on today, is because you don't get a lot of the press in the paper, and you don't get a lot of the press on the news, and this is this is good to get our student athletes in the program out there, which we'll get to.
I think to your point, and we make note of this now in recruiting. One of the first questions our players ask, or the guys that we're recruiting ask, is, can you help me go pro? And to your point about the availability of that process, when I was coming up, or Coach Papanikos and I were coming up, that wasn't even a thought. We didn't even think about going pro.
Coach Dean, hold on for a second.
Sure.
We're going to get back to that. We're going to go to break, and we'll be right back after this.
I will keep dancing on point, even if it hurts.
My arm is killing me. I don't know if I can pitch another ball. But I'll just play through the pain anyway.
I have to do the big stunts. They look better than the other cheerleaders. Our tosses are bigger.
My elbow really aches, but I've got to keep better.
Don't tell them it hurts. They'll take you out of the game if you do. I have to push harder if I'm going to get a scholarship. I'm feeling dizzy, but I don't want to tell anyone.
Everyone's counting on me. I can't rest now.
Nearly 50% of all sports injuries sustained by middle and high school students are from overuse. Don't play through the pain. See your healthcare provider and follow their instructions for rest and recovery. Take the pledge. Become an advocate for sports safety. Visit stopsportsinjuries.org.
Go team!
We're back on Youth in Sports, and we're talking to Coach Miles Dean and Zach Lee from the Wilmington soccer program. And soccer's a big deal. It's a big deal in every country but the United States. But in the United States, it's going to be a bigger deal than it should be, because soccer's a great sport. And like Coach Dean said, he started playing when he was 5. My grandkids started playing when they were 5. And it's one thing, you can throw a pair of shorts and a pair of cleats on them.
It's more of a lifelong sport than the other ones. I mean, really, you can play it. I still have patients in my office that are 45, 50 that are playing every weekend. So you can't do that. You can't play football until you're 50. It just doesn't. The legs aren't there. People aren't doing it. Maybe flag, but it's not the same.
Tackle, at least. So. Let me tell you, those doctors love the fact that the 50-year-olds are playing
soccer. We like
50-year-old
sports
because they're in there, half the time. And I'm from New York, and handball was a big sport. And every Sunday at the park, these guys that would, be stock brokers and stuff, 50, 60 years old, they would play handball. And every Sunday, the ambulance was there carting one of them off with a heart attack. And the fact is, you can't one day go out there and, in 80, 90-degree weather, play like hell and expect to be okay.
Everything's sore, I'll tell you that. Well, I cut Coach Dean off before we went to break, and he was talking about how, some of the athletes that they recruit are asking about getting me into pros. And
what do you say to them, Coach? With the psychology degree. Oh yeah, I'll help you.
Well, our program has had tremendous success over the past few years, and we've been fortunate enough to send a player overseas to play professionally. So we have.
Oh, that's cool. So you got that in your little box. So we look at Joe. He's
actually.
And when you say overseas, there are so many venues. Like I was amazed at the basketball venues overseas. How many soccer venues? How many countries can you send a player to play in?
Our player right now plays professionally in Sweden. Sweden. And he has worked his way up through the ranks over there, and now he's playing first division Swedish soccer. So we do have that experience, and frankly, we can help you get there because we've done it already.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Again, the conversations now are a little bit different with players, and when we can say that now, they go, oh, wow, okay.
And the best part is that you can give them a great education.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're able to do both.
Absolutely. So what we try to ask them is that, listen, we'd love for you to go pro, but can you help us along the way, and we can help you get there. So it's really, it's having that good understanding with the players.
Now, one of the things about women's basketball that Elena told us a whole bunch of stuff I never knew about women's basketball, which I think is really cool. But one of the things that she said was that, for example, they can't raid a college and take, like, Zach, what are you?
I'm a junior.
Okay. I can't come in here and take Zach. He has to graduate before, in women's basketball. Now, what about soccer? Is it any different?
From a professional standpoint? I think it depends on the league and what the league allows. If a student wanted to leave,
he could.
He could.
Right.
It depends on if the team wants to.
It's not like basketball.
No.
I think what you're getting to is in women's college basketball, they have to stay 4 years.
Right.
In men's basketball,
to stay 1.
It's 1 year.
Right.
And then in football, I believe there's a certain amount of years.
20 days.
There's so many.
Yeah.
So I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
But in college soccer, there's not.
No. There have been. I know a couple of Division I players that have actually left from like Maryland or something, left after 1 year, and gone pro. On and try to go pro. Yeah. So it can happen.
So the only rule is if you transfer, like if you keep transferring, you have to sit out a year. Like that's why I'm redshirt this year.
Well, let's talk to Zach Lee. Zach, thanks for coming down.
Not a problem.
You are a local product.
Yeah, I grew up here. I went to Christiana High School.
And you played soccer at Christiana?
I did. I played 4 years there.
And you also played. You swam and played lacrosse.
I did. I did swimming for 2 years, and I did lacrosse my senior year. So.
Now, was soccer your main sport, Zach?
Yeah.
And you always wanted to take that to the next level.
Yeah, for sure. I guess I started playing when I was about 4 or 5 years old.
Where'd you start?
It must have been some Newcastle County recreational league.
There's so many.
Yeah, I don't know. They threw me into some little.
You liked it right away?
Huh? Yeah, I loved it. And then I played at Kirkwood for a little bit. I played for a few years there, and then I went to a smaller club called the Delaware Sangerbond, called DSB. That's where I finished out until I started playing in college. So.
Now, when you went to college, where'd you go?
The first school I went to is a school called Cedarville. It's out in Ohio. And I actually went and did play soccer there for a year.
Now, how did you find Cedarville, Ohio? I never heard of it.
It was just a mix. It was.
Somebody you know go there? Or?
No, actually, I knew nobody who went there. I sent the coach an email. I came out for a little camp, and they offered me a spot on the team. They're well-known engineering school, and at the time, that was my major.
Okay.
So I went out there. I had my major, I had a chance to play soccer.
That's great.
So.
That is a good reason to go. I mean, you saw the major that you wanted. You said, hey, this is great, and they're giving me an opportunity.
Yeah, and it was nice because, I had been in Delaware my whole life up till then, so I kind of want to take the first year and get out.
Right.
Well, let's find this out because he's back here at Wilmington. So you went there for how many years?
I went there for 1 year.
And played?
Yes.
Okay.
So
and
I
then
used 1 year of eligibility there.
You don't have to tell me what happened, but what made you come back to Delaware?
Well, I changed my major. I switched it to education. And also it was expensive, so I didn't want to rack up a ton of student loans. So I actually transferred to University of Delaware, and that's where I went last year. I didn't play soccer there, so I changed my major, and then I just lived at home, so it was a lot cheaper. And then after my sophomore year, then I'm here now. So.
Why did you decide to come to Wilmington University?
So at UD I didn't play soccer, so I kind of missed it, and I wanted to get back into it.
Okay.
So I went into a walk-on tryout last spring, and they offered me a spot. And as you know, Wilmington has a good education program.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
I had the opportunity to stick with my major and play soccer, so I wasn't going to pass it up.
So now Zach, do you have 3 years of eligibility here?
The way it works is this is a red shirt. Yeah, so I do have 3 years left.
3 years.
Because you get 4 years to play and 1 red shirt.
Red shirt means that you sit out a year.
You practice, yeah. You can't
go
practice
with
the
team, but you can't play.
Things like that. So this is my red shirt year, and then I'll have 3 years left.
Because I like to see on television, the guy goes, he's an actual junior, and they'll go, what's that mean? You didn't get red shirted,
Yeah.
So,
Simon
what's
Jr.
your position, Zach?
I am a goalkeeper.
Now, have you always been a goalkeeper?
Yes. I mean, I enjoy doing both. When it's competitive, I am a goalkeeper though. But like if it's like pick or anything, I just play on the field.
Right. You can do anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
So, how long have you been on this team now? This is your first year?
Yeah. So I guess a semester. Started this fall and just did all these practices. So and then we're getting ready to do spring training here in a few days. So.
Since you're not that far out, tell everybody out there what the difference between high school soccer and college soccer. You've been at now 2 different schools.
Yeah.
Right, and you've practiced, not completely played at this one yet, correct? You didn't play the season yet because you're a redshirt. So you played at one school, you've practiced at 2, and compare it to high school.
It's a lot quicker.
That's what everybody says. Any sport, quicker.
Yeah, I mean, it's not quicker. You know, the guys are faster, you're older, you're stronger.
All the all-stars from high school are now in college.
Yeah.
You know, like you're an all-star.
All-stars.
Chest out, here you come, and, you know, boom, 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 boom.
Sure.
But how about the daily training? The foods, I mean, is there anything that you've had to change to keep up with the quality and talent of the other athletes?
I mean, you definitely have to fix your diet. Like, you know, for preseason, we're doing 3-a-day practices, so you can't be eating junk food. And,
3-a-days?
To start, yeah. We had a few 3-day practices. So you definitely got to be eating the lots of carbs and stay away from all the snacks and stuff.
Now, will you as a goalie, I always say this to the swimmers, you know, if I'm a 50-yard swimmer, I'm swimming 50 meter or 100 meters, which to me that would be the gang thing. And here's one swimming, you know, swimming for 10 days. Do you have the same training regimen? Now, you as a keeper, and I should ask the coach, you know, are your
work out as a team.
Are your other guys, your offensive guys, defensive guys, is he doing the same thing as they're doing?
Yes.
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 As far as
preseason, everyone is doing the fitness work.
Yeah.
Okay, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
They might be a little bit more lenient on us for like the longer runs, but we are still expected to make the times.
Okay.
So.
Well, I want a goalie's perspective. Is there something different? Because I don't know this. I never played soccer. Is there something different about the cleats? Is there different? Is there anything different?
The uniform. The goalie's always got some goofy different thing on. Every time I look, I hate the way soccer players dress and look. But anyway, the goalie always looks different. He's got some different uniform on. Why is that?
Different uniform? Well,
I mean, the guys stand in front of the net, do they have to know, oh yeah, he's the goalie, he's got this uniform on.
So
I'll say that's mainly for the referee to know that he can use his hands, because obviously the goalie's the one spot, or the one.
Okay, the referee's that dumb that he doesn't know that the guy in front of the net.
Well, I mean, if they're all wearing the same thing on like a corner, you can
I could see that. You couldn't tell who it is wearing the same uniform.
You're right.
I understand.
I'm right.
But nothing different. I mean, they don't wear special cleats.
You get gloves. I mean, you get a long jersey normally. You can wear pants and stuff like that.
Because of the diving.
Especially on like turf.
Now,
You get,
a regular player can wear gloves too, right?
Yes, but the goalie gloves are a little bit different. They're normally a lot bigger. Increase like the surface area of your hand. They have a lot of like grip and stuff like that.
Now,
the ball.
I would think that the best thing for a goalie would be, and correct me if I'm wrong, would be instinct. I mean,
for
he
sure.
would have to, beside quickness, instinct. I mean,
Yeah, it definitely helps.
like a tennis player, tennis player waiting for a
you
slam.
can't hurt what they're saying, Walter.
Tennis player waiting for a slam against him. I'm going to go to the right.
Yeah. Well, I think it's instinct. I think it's quickness, like you said. I think it's one of the goalkeeper's jobs is really because of the position he's in, he can therefore manage the team really in front of him. So you want someone who can be a leader from the back and helping defense position themselves and see what's happening, because he can see everything. So
that's a good point. I want to get in. We only got like less than 2 minutes left.
That's something that I was going to add. When you're on the field, does the goalie yelling out things about plays? Because I always say, in soccer, I always got a little kind of like turned off, because it seems like, it's late in the game and the ball's going backwards, and I'm like, go forward. But I noticed that it gets passed around, and is the goalie calling out plays, direction? Is that part of?
I wouldn't say plays per se. Like we don't have like set plays we run. The goalie's main job is more like you want to make sure defense is organized and make sure that there's no gaps, or you're not just letting a guy.
Well, if there's like a Pele on the other team, that's the only name I really know. If there's a Pele on the other team, are you making sure that your defense guys, there's like 2 of them on him? Because I don't want him to beat me.
Yeah, you might not want 2 guys right there, but you want to make sure that you know where he is, and you want to make sure that they know where he is, so you don't want to let him just slip.
You don't want to let him, right. We got less than 30 seconds left.
For sure.
But we'll come back and talk about that because that's an interesting part of soccer.
And before we go to break, what was it that made you a goalie? What was that one thing? Just
you want to run up and down the court.
Yeah, I mean, when I was young, it really was. I didn't like running.
There it is.
But I don't mind it now. But I don't know. I just felt natural there. So I actually do enjoy both. But.
Well, we're going to go to break, and we'll be right back with Wilmington Soccer just after this.
What does opportunity mean to you? At Wilmington University, it means providing a personalized educational experience where students learn anywhere at any time. Wilmington University provides a variety of ways to complete your degree. Choose the flexibility of online learning, or attend classes during the day, in the evening, or on weekends at locations throughout the region. It's your degree. Choose how you earn it. Personalized education, affordable tuition. That's the difference at Wilmington University. What does opportunity mean to you? At Wilmington University, it means finding an innovative degree program that fits your goals and prepares you for a successful career. It means finding a school that fits your life. We know the importance of providing individual attention, affordable tuition, and unparalleled flexibility in service. Because at Wilmington University, it's not about meeting your expectations, it's about exceeding them. Personalized education, affordable tuition, that's the difference at Wilmington University.
Hi, we're back on Youth in Sports, and we're talking to the coach, assistant coach, and the goalie on the Wilmington University soccer team, and getting some great insights into soccer. But, you know, soccer is a big deal in Delaware and all over the country now.
It's getting bigger and bigger.
And a great sport for young kids. You know, both these young men started when they were 5. And what other sport can you do that, really, and be successful?
Start early, and you can continue it late. It is true.
Sure.
Well, first thing I wanted to do is I thank Coach Dean for coming on, but I also want to thank Coach Pop Nicholas for actually setting this all up, and also congratulate him on an excellent season that just went by. And I want to get into what a great season you guys had, and you know, kind of show the Delaware community how they have a fairly decent powerhouse here in the state with Wilmington soccer. So, Coach Dean, tell us, this year, I know we went over the record and all that, but just give us some of the highlights of what has gone on this year.
Well, I think first and foremost, one of the big highlights was opening up the new complex.
Off of 40?
Yes.
Right off 40.
Yeah. So
new field.
Having a new stadium field is huge.
Also great for recruiting, right?
It's tremendous for recruiting, and you know, teams come in and coaches say, "Man," they look around and they're just in awe at what we have. From a soccer standpoint, it's really one of the best facilities in the region for soccer.
Well, it goes out to again the thank you to the president and Laverne and the AD and thank you guys for the recent upgrades that we've had.
It's a beautiful complex. It's a big advantage for us. It's helping us from a recruiting standpoint, and it's just a great place to play. And we look forward to packing it. You know, we had some great crowds out there this year on the Saturday soccer. Saturday afternoon has been really, really great out Route 40 at the complex. So
that's good.
That I think was a big thing for us this year, and you know, we hope to build on that and make it more of a fortress for us and a real tough place to come play over the next few years.
Coach, what is the soccer season?
Soccer season?
The college soccer season.
For most colleges in NCAA, we start in August. It's varied a little bit. They've changed some things. We start mid-August, and the Final Four national championship game is first week in December. So
when you say you start in August, you mean you start in August to work out?
Preseason.
Oh, preseason.
Preseason
Okay.
starts in August.
Because a lot of the kids aren't in school in August, or are they?
That's when they come.
Yeah, they come in. They come in about two or 3 weeks early.
Okay.
To start preseason, and school starts right before Labor Day.
Well, like I tell all of my high school athletes that are in my office, college soccer, college sports in general, it's year-round. It's not just August,
That's
December.
the change. That's the change in sports today. Like
You're
baseball players,
exercising.
football players, they used to take off, get a little pot belly, then come to spring training to work it off, but no more.
Right.
You can't do that anymore.
No. But back to our season. I'm sorry. The opening the stadium was great, but also in hosting a conference tournament was also a really big thing for us.
And is that our first time? Is that most recent? I mean, I know it was this past year, but have we done that in the past, or because of the new stadium were we able to do that?
Yeah, it was really because of the new stadium.
That's
we were
great.
able to open it up. To have the conference tournament there, and both the men and women played their conference tournament. So that was really good for us. And then next, obviously, one, making the NCAA tournament and winning our first game was a big highlight.
Well, let's go through that, because I guess you had the experience. Were you able to see a little bit of it? No.
I actually wasn't there because I'm allowed to travel with the red shirt. So Coach Dean would probably be more.
So team went
suited.
12-6-2, right?
Yeah.
Made it to the conference tournament, and then take it from there.
Well, we won our first conference tournament round game, and against Concordia University, and then played Post University, who's been our rivals for past forever in the conference. We hadn't beaten them in 4 games straight. It's been a couple of years since we've beaten that team. They knocked us out of the conference tournament in the same round last season. So it was great to play them again this year in the conference tournament, where we lost to them in a penalty kick shootout situation.
Explain that to people, because I just found this out today, how it goes. So you play all 90 minutes, and then
play 90 minutes, play 2 10-minute overtimes. If it's still tied, you go to a penalty kick shootout. So each team selects five shooters. They alternate shots, best of 5.
Well, that's how the women beat the Chinese.
Correct.
It is.
And that was the big deal, and that's why you saw that.
But it seems like it throws it on the goalie.
Well, the goalie made a great save.
I mean, the goalie has to be pretty big when it comes to that.
Shooter also has to have some composure in net there, and when all the eyes are on you and it's your time to what you think is an easy situation isn't always that easy. So we actually lost in the shootout there, and we were.
That makes it really a close game, though.
Yeah,
Well, this is the semifinals,
very
correct?
close game.
Semifinals of the tournament.
So the game ended up a tie, is how it goes down officially. But we were out of the tournament, and we weren't really sure if we had done enough to get into the national tournament. So to get that phone call that Sunday night that yes, we had made it was really a really exciting moment.
So you didn't know until you got the phone call.
We had no idea.
Now I want to know, do you get the kids together into a room and kind of wait? Because you see this for the NCAA basketball tournament where teams are in a big room, everybody's having a good time, and they're watching it on TV.
And that's exactly what we did. That's exactly what we did.
That had to be a great feeling.
So we had the team meet us in the student center, and they had no idea what was happening. Coaches, we did.
Wow.
They had no idea what was going on.
That's
and
great.
We did the pizza and the whole 9 yards, and our name popped up on a screen, and the guys just went nuts. It was a really exciting moment for us. So that was another highlight, actually. Yeah.
Coach, knowing that you're going to the national tournament, how many teams are in the national tournament?
Division II, it's 35 teams.
35 teams from all over the country.
Yes.
Okay. And how do you get seeded?
Yeah, well, we're in our region. They break it down into 4 regions.
And then the regions play against one another?
Correct. And the regions play against one another, and it's kind of trickles down into the Final 4.
So there's 4 regions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who would you say are the top teams in those 35?
Well,
I mean, who are the powerhouses?
I believe that our region is the strongest in the country.
You do?
I believe that, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's great.
Our region,
that's where I'm going.
Absolutely.
So in other words, a team that you played because you think you're in the strongest, that would be unfair, because if you were playing against some of the other regions, you would have more of an advantage because you say we're the strongest.
Well, I think our region.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure. I think this East region
competitive.
that we're in is one of the strongest.
Right.
And I think there's a South region that's due with the teams in Florida: Lynn University, University of Tampa, West Florida, Rollins College. Those are very strong traditional teams in Division II college soccer. So I think those two regions are where you're going to get your stronger teams.
Not in California, not out west.
Not really. I mean, I think if you go back and look at the national champions over the past 10 years, and teams in the Final Four, you're going to find they came from our region, and you're going to find they came from that southern region.
Wow.
So, which is evident this year because the national champion, the team we lost to in the national tournament, went on to win the national championship.
Which says a lot for you.
Which says a lot for us and says a lot for the competition in this area. And and if we can get out of that region, you've done a lot.
If you can get out of the North region,
you're doing
good.
You're doing pretty well, and you're probably going to be one of the top teams at the Final Four.
That's cool.
Well, let's go over that experience. So the kids were all there. The TV pops up your name. Everybody goes crazy.
Everyone goes crazy, and it's preparation.
And that's the big one.
It's preparation for that first game. And I think the other exciting piece was realizing that the first game was against a team that just beat us a few days before. So
you had to play
post-university in the first round game again at Southern New Hampshire.
Is it one and out?
You hadn't beat them in almost now 5 times.
Yeah. We hadn't beat them in 2 years plus now.
Is it one and out?
Yes.
So in other words, you lose to them, you go home.
Sure. Lose and you go home. So I think that was the other really exciting thing about that, was knowing that we're going to get one more shot at these guys.
Cool.
And I guess the kids put their head down and worked hard for the next few weeks.
Well,
how much time did you have in between?
We found out on Sunday. I think the announcement show was it Monday? And I think the game was Thursday.
Yeah, so it's pretty quick.
So we had a couple games. It was a quick turnaround. We had a couple of days.
But you had to go to New Hampshire.
Yeah, so we had to travel to New Hampshire. So I think we left Wednesday.
Yeah, like 9 in the morning.
Wednesday in the morning.
How many guys on your team?
We travel with about 25, I believe it is.
Is there?
And then we have about 4 or 5 red shirts. So
is there a regulation as to how many you can have?
No, I think it's however many you can take on a bus.
I mean, you can have it on your team.
On the bench, you're only allowed a certain number.
Oh, okay.
On the bench, you're only allowed a certain number, but we took everyone in the program.
Right, and rightly so.
Yeah.
Rightly so.
Yeah.
Now, is this the first time that Wilmington has ever made it into the NCAA tournament?
No, actually, in 2009, we were not. This year, we were a 6th seed, so we sort of barely made it. In 2009, we were a top seed. We were a number 2 seed in that very strong region.
Wow.
So we had a first round bye, but in 2009 we didn't have a place to play. We didn't have a facility that could handle a national tournament. So as a high seed, we had to travel to play,
which is counterproductive.
And actually that year we played in Southern New Hampshire at their place. So we had a first round bye. Southern New Hampshire had to play the first round game. They won. And then we played them in the second round, and they beat us in the second round. So that's a team we haven't gotten past yet, but we're looking forward to the next opportunity to play.
Well, we should have field now. You can host your own game. You get
and that's what we're working for. We're working to be a top seed team, and to be able to host the national tournament. Yeah. I'm thinking about. I'm remiss. This is our second year in the facility at Wilmington. Down Route 40. But again, to be able to host the conference tournament here was great.
We've got one more segment left, right? And we only got like 20 seconds in this one, but I think we want to get into the recruiting process and the fact that the new field and the success that you've had certainly would draw people like Zach, Yeah. Sure. And we'll find out a little bit more about that right after this.
I know they never make me play with these guys, but why do they make me train like them?
Training hard is important, and for professional athletes, it's their job. But kids aren't professionals and shouldn't train at that level. Keep kids safe on the playing field and out of the operating room. Become an advocate for sports safety. Visit StopSportsInjuries.org.
We're back on Youth in Sports for our last segment. We're talking to Coach Miles Dean and Zach Lee of the Wilmington University successful soccer team. And one of the things that you mentioned, Dr. Straight, is that this was their first win in a national tournament.
Wilmington's in the CACC conference, and this is the first time that a CACC conference team actually won a NCAA tournament game in the Division II level.
Correct. Yes.
So, and I don't know if we pointed it out, but so the Wilmington team, who they had lost to Post University in their conference semifinals, ended up beating Post University at their place. Correct, up in New Hampshire.
At Southern New Hampshire. We both.
At Southern New Hampshire, and then ended up having to play Southern New Hampshire,
the next second round,
who ended up becoming the Division II national champions.
Correct.
And lost 3-0. Is that what it was?
3-0, yes. Yeah.
Which is a big deal. I mean, that's a big deal, national champion. I mean, that's a big deal.
They were very good.
Very
It's
few
an amazing
schools.
season.
Yeah, very
I
few
mean, you guys
schools
did an excellent job, and now Walter really likes to get into the recruiting process. But it's important.
Well,
it's an important
I think it's
thing.
important because that's what makes the fact that you're successful.
Absolutely.
Because you've recruited the correct athletes.
Absolutely.
And
Exactly.
how do you go about doing that, Coach? What's your secret? Do you and the head coach, do you go to different games? How do you arrange it? Do they send you tapes? Do you watch them on tape?
It's a combination of all that.
The internet's a big deal now.
The internet is a very big deal. A few things. There are a lot of recruiting agencies out there now that that send video of players.
Do you watch them?
Yes.
You do?
Yes, we do.
Because I remember my son was, it cost me a fortune. They're going to send this, they're going to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, I said to the coach a couple of times, you watch those videos? Yeah.
I think we do. I think, we get a lot of them also from an international standpoint. We have some connections from, some.
Do you have any international players?
Oh,
yes.
The majority of the team is international teams. Yeah.
From what countries?
Brazil, England,
Peru. Is there?
Ecuador.
Oh.
Close enough. Canada, Africa. We have players from Liberia.
Wow.
Yeah. So the recruiters help us, find those types of players. We can't go to
Yeah, you're not going to go.
You can't spend a week
fly
in
to
England.
different countries. Exactly.
Although we did make a trip. We did have our head coach went to Colombia last winter.
Colombia, South America?
Yeah, to look at some players. So
look at some horses down there.
So yeah. So we so that's one way we do it. We also are very active in the club scene, and we're at all the national tournaments and all the there's so many leagues going on, high caliber leagues, and we're at all the games. And
about how many kids you have from the state, Delaware?
About 4 or 5.
About 4 or 5
this year. This next year, I don't know.
Okay, why would a kid from Brazil, and no offense, I'm from New York originally, but I've been in Delaware for 35, 40 years.
Sure.
Why would a kid from Brazil want to come to Delaware?
I think it's a kid would want to come to the United States to get an education.
Okay.
That's the main reason.
I think that's the main draw.
Reason.
Then it's up to us.
And their soccer.
And for soccer. It's up to us to sell
Delaware. Or Wilmington University, right?
Yeah. Right. And I think one of the things we lean on is the fact that we're centrally located.
Right.
You can get to Philadelphia, one of the major cities in this country, half an hour away.
Yeah, New York, Philadelphia,
is 2 hours away.
Baltimore,
Washington D.C.
And we say that to so many people who move here from other states, and we say we're right in that area where you can go either way and go to everything. If you want to travel to Maryland, you want to travel to New York, you can do it in a day.
I think it's a great place to raise kids. but I always called it a yawn sandwich, you know, as a state. If you're from New York and you move to Delaware, I mean, you know, I go out at 2 o'clock in the morning and get a hamburger, and no place open.
Oh, yeah.
But you get used to that,
Sure.
especially when you're a parent.
Yeah, and I think one of the other things, one of our big, I think many of our players are in sports management. So the other advantage
That's what I was going to ask you. What is their primary?
Yeah, I think quite a few of our players are doing sports management. So we say, well, listen, look at this. You have Philadelphia here, the number of sports teams there. Baltimore, the number of teams there. New York, the number of teams there. DC. You know, so you have all of these options in terms, you know, after you graduate. And that's been a big advantage for us as well.
And the sports management program has been excellent. It's growing here. So.
Okay, not to be a negative person, but one of the things, and I'm going to ask you this, Zach.
You're never that, are you?
And I'm going to ask you, Coach, and try to tell the truth on this. One of the things, I was a baseball coach and a football coach. Played baseball and football my whole life in New York. One of the things I always resented about soccer was you have to play, the coaches, once they grab you and you're a decent athlete, like you're, you know, 8 to 12 to 14, you got to play summer soccer, you got to play winter soccer, you got to play, or you don't get a spot on this team. And I'm like, I like a kid like Zach to be able to play swim and play lacrosse. If he wants to play baseball or play football and play soccer. But a lot of these coaches, especially the youth coaches, I'm not saying you, Coach, especially the youth coaches, are telling these kids and their parents, look, you know, if you don't, you're on the travel team, you know, that's the big deal, the travel team. Yeah. I got 2 of my grandkids on the travel team. I'm going crazy. I said, let them play football, let them play baseball. No, you know, you'll lose your spot. That's what I got against soccer. Now,
I think it's
comment. No, not from you, because you don't play.
I think that it's starting to become like that more and more. It wasn't like that when I played sports. You played different things. But I think sports specificity, becoming specific
I
to
think
one
it's a bad
sport
thing.
is
I
more-
think that kids need to learn different. Don't forget, soccer is not hand-eye coordination. The only sport that's not. Okay, so.
Sure, goalkeeper.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, right. I want my kids to learn, you know, hand-eye coordination. Comment on that. And I don't. Yeah.
Want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
When I did club, I mean, we did practice throughout the year, but like we were allowed to play other sports. You just had to
ask permission.
You didn't have to ask permission. I mean, you had to build your schedule. You had to be disciplined. Like if you wanted to juggle like school and say like I was doing swimming and soccer. Like I know sometimes I go right from swimming practice and smell like chlorine. And I go to an indoor soccer practice right after.
Well, that's okay, Coach. You want to? Did you do that, or were you a product of that?
Yes. I think at some point.
And we only got like a minute and a half
Sure.
left.
I think at some point in the kids' development, I think they decide that they want to play soccer.
I understand that, but you know what I'm talking about. You understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I think it's a choice of a.
Well, sometimes I don't think they have a choice. You know, either you're going to make the team,
parent may push it,
or you can't make the team if you don't play, you know, all year. And I know now with swimmers, they have to swim, you know, club to be successful. So it's not just soccer anymore.
Right.
Joe's right.
I think that what we need to do is make sure the kids get breaks.
Yeah, I do too.
At this level, it's a little different, but at the younger level, they just need breaks so that they can give their body a rest as they're starting to do things, no matter what they choose, no matter what they want to play. Or I agree, there may be some benefit to seeing everything when you're young, but you know, my thing is as long as they're getting breaks to let their bodies rest, that's what it is. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank Coach Miles Dean and Zach Lee for coming down, spending an hour with us, and I want to wish him success for this coming season.
I want to thank
Stop some goals.
Coach Nick.
Okay?
Thank you.
Coach Nick, as well as the athletic department, and allowing you guys to have the ability to get good recruits and have a great season. And I hope you guys have another great season.
Well, you see a young coach like this gentleman right here, Miles, you know they're going to be successful because he's a class act.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys very much for coming down.
Thank you.
Wilmington University is a class act too. And Joe, I'll see you next week, same time, same place.
Sounds good. I'll be
Thanks
here.
for joining us. I would tell you to go to the web, but I'm not. We'll see you next week on Youth in Sports. Good night.
This show is sponsored by ATI, the company taking physical therapy to a higher level throughout the country. First State Orthopedics, where Youth in Sports hosts Drs. Straight and Axe are members of the team taking care of Delaware with a commitment to excellence. And President Jack Barcelona and his Wilmington University College of Technology, where each semester this student-run program is produced, directed, edited, and distributed under the guidance of the TV production faculty. Each guest receives a copy of the show, and all shows are available on the web at youthinsports.com.